What about Reo Hatate, Graham? I picked Mick's brain about this last night. Didn't go off the bench again yesterday. It feels like it wasn't that long ago that he came on at Ibrox and completely changed the game. But that was the league game, wasn't it? It wasn't the cup game.
Yeah.
And he came on when Celtic were 2-0 down, was man in the match, and as I say, completely turned the game on its head. But now, for whatever reason, Martin O'Neill obviously feels like he can't trust him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I probably go against the grain with Hatate in the sense, as good as that cameo was against Rangers, I probably deep down didn't expect it to last much longer. I just feel probably the way I would sum it up. Do you remember the great game against Leipzig the season before last? And he scored that night. It was amazing. And the 3 games after it, you just always expect him to back it up. And even the highs of his early time, with the moments, there was always wee times where those stray passes and it just whatever. The good we know about, he's so creative. He can find half spaces and the team moves in a different style when he's on the pitch. But I just think there's too many negatives at this point. I think the near moves, and if Martin O'Neill just, it's a hard balance with him. I think everyone can see his talent, but it's quite clear that we've passed a good couple of weeks now where he's not even got on the pitch. I know he nearly in the cup semi-final. It doesn't look like that's going to change. I just don't see him getting dropped in against Rangers next week. It just doesn't look like that's the direction of travel. But I think it's a kind of cautious tale of Celtic at their best have also been very good when they sell at the right time, and they've been left with this player that probably should have gone for more money than he will when he leaves. Still kind of lingering about's harsh, but just he is capable of moments of brilliance like the way he played at Ibrox, but I just don't think Martin O'Neill trusts what he brings to the team. And whatever Nygren, for all his faults, I think he's more accountable in his current form than what Hatate is. So him as Nygren's his most attacking player, then lets you get Engels, gets the legs back in the midfield. I felt for Engels a wee bit yesterday in the sense that I think O'Neill probably thought it was going to be a bit more end-to-end game, and he used his kind of more athleticism where it became they just were pinned in, and his set pieces weren't probably up to the standard they should have been. And then Cal McGregor looked fitter yesterday than he has in about 6 weeks, so he's the obvious candidate. So there probably isn't an obvious position for Hatate to start. Maybe it's a surprise he's not coming off the bench, but there's no doubt that there's been it's made clear Martin O'Neill's intentions by the fact he's not coming off the bench or coming on to change the game. I think it's clear that it's near the end. But he has been a talented player for a long time. I think he could sit there and reel off all his achievements and what he's been able to. But they're just that false dawn after the Rangers game probably sums up the player that he's become in this kind of last 18 months. That it's a bit unfulfilled, unfortunately.
I think he's also been slightly kind of caught in the recent style of games, because the way it's gone in the last few weeks, Celtic haven't been chasing. They managed to kind of get away from this last 5-minute dash for goals. They've been getting the goals about 70 minutes these days, rather than 85. And I think Martin will stumbled across his kind of a favoured starting 11 that gets either a lead or at least stays in the game before he goes looking for the goal. And you think when you be putting on Hatate probably in search of a goal, it might be that you can go at that period of time it's more kind of protecting what they've got. So the 72 scoring 72 minutes, that point, would you put on Hatate full in? Maybe, but then you get the goal, you're not putting him on because you can't risk him giving the ball away at that time. Listen, Celtic did that anyway. So you maybe have an Oxlade-Chamberlain or even a Luke McCowan who's a bit more stable on the ball. I think so. I think the way the game management's kind of gone along in the last few weeks, it's changed things slightly for Hatate and his role in the team. But then you look at the cup game at 2 each. You think extra time. You think they're going to put him on there, try and go and win the game. Didn't get a sniff. I think clearly O'Neill is just not having him.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I just get that. I mean, he talks him up. We've asked about him about the last 2 or 3 weeks. What's happening with Reo Hatate? And he's working really hard and in just circumstances. I just get the feeling that he's just maybe, like Graham said, he's got trust issues. He's got this game model that seems to be working at the moment, and he's not going to shake it up with. Let's be honest, Hatate, I think he's on his days as good as it gets. Mm-hmm. He's a bit of a maverick, and maybe at this point in time, O'Neill thinks I can't be carrying mavericks. I need the guys who I can rely on to get in about it. But it's a bit of a mystery. I mean, and again, we'll be asking about it again this week, and when we get to talked to Martin on Friday, because it is something people were wondering. Like, Matt, we were joking last week about going to the ballot race this week. And I was kind of tongue in cheek saying that, but it looks as though he's got the ball and backpack in. He's in there already.
Aye, I mean, I just only bring it up because at Celtic, you know, people talk about lack of quality, and I know for his lack of discipline at times, he's got a lot of quality. But
would you not say as well, Dan, quickly, that the thought of Reo Hatate being a fringe man in a Celtic team that's not working a couple of years ago would be incomprehensible? And I think for all his brilliant traits, I think he's always benefited, and probably deservedly so, that, you know, those games where he would hit defenders off their bum and the passes are haywire, but it's always, it's all right, it's Reo, he'll fix it, and it'll be, he's worth whatever comes with the mistakes. But it's just not that way anymore, is it? That's just, I think the team's evolved or he's regressed.